FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, happy Football Friday, everybody. Yeah, it is a Football Friday. I'm repping my Knowles gear here today. Where's your collegiate gear? I guess UCF ain't playing this weekend, so are they? Are they playing? I don't even know. But I know Florida State's playing. I'll be up at the Duquesne game. There's lots of games going on this weekend. We got a big game Saturday night for the Buccaneers that we're going to talk about here in just a little bit. As I say, good morning to Nick Geddes from Outsider.com. What's up, brother?
Yeah, I was driving in this morning, and I was like, holy crap, we got FSU football tomorrow.
Yes.
It snuck up
I'm going to be in the stadium, in the Champions Club, eating and drinking.
Are we going to have a sold-out crowd, maybe?
I heard the student section sold out,
which
is something because the students, stopped going to the games for a very long time. So, yeah, the student section is sold out. I'm thinking there's going to be a pretty robust crowd there. All my Tallahassee folks say they're going. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a robust crowd in Tallahassee.
5 o'clock start, right?
5 o'clock start.
See, now I'm hoping that FSU has a nice, cushy, 40-point lead, so we can turn that off.
Please.
And we can get to some Buccaneers football at 7:30 tomorrow.
This is an important game, and we're going to get right into it. First, let me tell you what's coming up on the show. We're brought to you by Emerging Investigations, emerginginv.com, Tampa Bay's #1 private investigation agency. Coming up at 10:30, Pat Burnham will join us from the Osceola up in Tallahassee to preview the FSU Duquesne game. At 11 o'clock, a little reprise of the Rondé Barber interview from yesterday, which I thought was absolutely tremendous. He's a really good analyst. Fox should put him on games. Oh, wait. And then we'll chat with Dan Lucas of News Channel 8, who will be hosting the game up in Indianapolis on Saturday night. So we'll tell us what's coming up on the broadcast, and we'll preview what's coming up with the Colts. And this is going to be as close to a regular season game, at least in the first quarter, as I think we're going to see. Because guess what? As Rondé told you yesterday, Tom Brady's going to play. Tom Brady's going to play, and we're going to see him really for the first time. Well, the public is going to see him for the first time this year working with some of his new weapons. I don't think Russell Gage is going to play. We'll hear from Todd Bowles here in a minute, but he basically said everybody who's healthy is going to play. And Russell Gage has kind of been on that the iffy side of that, so he probably won't play. I'm thinking Tristan Wirfs is not going to play, but they're going to put Brady out there, and I think that's fine. Brady has played in the preseason almost every single year. I think going back to 2008, I think Greg Auman had a tweet to that regard. He played in a couple games last year, and I think in this situation, especially with the new center, you got to get out there and get some play time on artificial surface up in Indianapolis. You're going to be playing your first couple games indoors as well. So, why not get out there with your new center, new offensive line combinations? You've got some new targets to throw to. You've got there's some newness out there, and of course, Brady was gone for a couple of weeks. I don't think that's going to matter from a football standpoint, but I would like to see him get out there, be efficient, drive the team down, and just really feel confident about getting ready to go into another season. Because this has been anything but a regular off season for Tom Brady. Let's be honest about this. He can obviously lean on his experience and say, we've gone through this, 23 times. I know what I'm doing. This is not a new offense. Most of the people here, we know there's a lot of continuity to this offense. Even though there are new offensive linemen, there is still a lot of continuity to the offense. But also, think about this, the retirement, the non-retirement, coming back after that, the loss of Jensen, obviously. You got some new people up front, especially a center to take the ball from. You could do all this in practice, but game speed is a little different. And, this is not going to be NFL regular season game speed. I get that, but it's going to be pretty damn close. And I do think it's important for Brady at 45 and having an offseason like he's never had before to get out there and feel comfortable. Because like we said before, this season starts right off, and every game is going to be critically important. I know that sounds cliche, but when you come down to the end of the year and when this #1 seeding is never more important than it's ever been, I don't think Brady's ever won a Super Bowl when he hasn't been the #1 seed. It matters. Playing home games matters. Playing less games matters in the playoffs. So why not set your sights on that goal? And that has to start from game one. I know a lot of people are like, well, we can kind of ease into it a little bit. And, we don't going to get anybody hurt in the preseason if we're not so good in the beginning. No, none of that. Games in December mean as much as games in September. The record is going to be the record. So the Bucs have got to start fast, and they've got a chance to go and beat a Cowboys team that right now I think is a little very much depleted. They are not going to be at full strength, especially with Tyron Smith going down at left tackle. So that looks like they may have to move a rookie into that spot at left tackle for the first game. I mean, and here comes Todd Bowles' defense full of every blitz package that you can ever imagine, the most blitz heavy defense in football, and they're going to get after Dak Prescott. Now, I thought Dak Prescott played one hell of a game last year against the Bucs. I thought he was the best player on the field that day, in my opinion. He kept them in the game, and the Bucs needed a field goal late to win that game. I think this Bucs team is, I don't want to say it's better without Ryan Jensen. I think that's a big question mark to me. Hainsey is a big question mark that remains to be seen, especially early in the season. How is that going to work out? But the defense, I think, is better. I think overall this team can be better. I think if they run the football more and have more balance, they can be a better football team, even though they may not have as good a record because this schedule is absolutely brutal. But they have to get off to a good start. You've got the Dallas game, which could be a tiebreaker game down the road for playoff implications. You got the Saints game, which is a divisional game and a team you kind of got to get over the hump. And then you got the Packers, and then you got the Chiefs. The Packers is another game that could be a tiebreaker come end of the season. So you have no time to ease into the season. So I think it's important that the Bucs go out on Saturday night and they play with some consistency. They play error-free football, or just learn some things that they got to work on before game one. Is Robert Hainsey going to be good enough? Are they going to need to help him in some blocking packages? There's a lot of things that they can learn by putting the starters out there. So I'm glad that Todd Bowles has decided to not do what the Rams do and do what some other people do and just hide all your starters. I think every team is different. I think every situation is different. And I think the situation that Bowles is dealing with right now demands that the starting team go out there, especially on offense, and play for a few snaps. And I think it's important. And I'm going to watch, and I think I'm going to watch from Tallahassee, and I think it's going to be very, very important for the Bucs to get off to a good start in this season.
Yeah,
your thoughts?
It is definitely paramount because that is a murderer's row of a schedule that you just pointed off again there, weeks 1 through 4. I was probably in that camp. If I don't need to see the starters play. I could have gone either way on it, to be honest. So it doesn't really change much for me. Besides, my viewing experience is going to be a bit better.
Yeah, of course.
On Saturday,
a little better than last game. You think?
A little better than last game. It's just another sign that we're not worried about getting reps for Blaine Gabbert. We're not worrying about reps for Kyle Trask.
It's time to play football.
It's time to play real football now.
Football.
The real players are getting in there. He said anybody that's healthy is going to play. I, with you, do not think that's going to be Tristan Wirfs. I don't think there's any upside to him playing.
No, none.
Even though we talked about it, do you put Brady out there without him? I think they can manage.
Just scheme around that.
They can manage for a drive or two.
If Josh Wells is playing right tackle, then whoever's playing tight end is going to be helping him out.
It's not like Brady's playing an entire half here. I mean, it's going to be probably a drive or two. If they go right down the field in like 7 plays, 75 yards, and he's out. Yeah, it's that simple. So
maybe I think Brady is in the past gotten up to I think he's averaged 12 passes in the preseason game. So I think it may be more than one drive. But here's the beautiful thing about having a Tom Brady. He knows how to protect himself, right? He knows how to get rid of the football. He knows when he's good, right? He knows when he's good. He'll, if he wants to, if I'm Todd Bowles and Byron Leftwich, I ain't telling him anything. You tell me. You're Tom freaking Brady. You're the guy out there. You're pulling the trigger. Do you need more time? Now, if he wants to play the whole game, I might, pull the reins back, but he's not that stupid, right? He's not going to do that. But you're not going to have to. You can trust this guy to be ready, and that he's going to turn over every stone to make sure that he's ready. And if he feels like he needs 3 series, you give him 3 series. So and that's the beauty of having an experienced quarterback.
Yeah, and I'm kind of looking here. Have the Colts made a decision if they're playing their starters?
I don't know. I'd like to see Matt Ryan and that group out there. I think the Colts are going to be a playoff team. I think they're a very good football team,
and they're in the hunt to win that division. No doubt about it. But I bring that up only because of we talked about the offensive line. You said it there in your opening monologue about Hainsey and Gadecki and some of these guys. If they're going to be that starting line there tomorrow, another big test for them is DeForest Buckner if he plays tomorrow. I mean, again, that's similarly how it was last week when Jeffrey Simmons went up against Gadecki and went up against Hainsey. If this guy plays tomorrow, I mean, in a real game action like that, again, it's what we need to see from these guys. So I'm hoping the Colts play some of their starters here.
Yeah, because that's going to give Byron Leftwich an idea of what they need to do in terms of blocking assignments. You know, can they allow Hainsey, can they allow Gadecki to be put in one-on-one situations? They'll learn a lot. They'll learn a lot about this. So I think it's paramount that these guys play. I'd like to see the offensive line play a whole half. If you look at Gadecki last week, I think Peter Report even did their film study, and just on my notes, I thought the first half, his first 20 plays were really, really good. I think they had him winning on 18 of 19, his first 19 plays. And as the game got deeper is when he started to have issues, right? So stamina is an issue here. And you got to get guys up to, if Gadecki's going to start at left guard, he's going to play 4 quarters of his first NFL game.
Yeah.
That's, you got to get used to it.
Yeah.
And you can't simulate it in practice.
I read here Frank Reich did say that his starters will play the entire first half.
Well, there we go.
Against the Bucs. So there you go.
This is valuable information to be able to test it. Look, and you know what? If there's an injury and guys get injured, that's football. That's football. And people will say, oh, man, how did you waste this in the preseason? Well, then he might have got hurt in the first game. It doesn't matter. You've got to get your team ready. And it is a very delicate balance there. And it's a hard line to walk. I get it. But you have to, in your heart of hearts, you have to see something. You can't bubble wrap these guys for the entire preseason. I don't think that's a great strategy. You got to go find out some things, especially when you don't have a cupcake game in your first at 4. You don't have any of them. So get this team ready to play right from the jump. And to do that, they need to play at least a half. And that's what I want to see.
I don't know if they're going to get a half. Well, I don't think Brady's getting half. I'll put it that way.
No.
The other starters will see.
I'm talking about the offensive line. I'd like to see them play a half.
Oh, yeah. The offensive line's getting a whole half.
Yeah.
No doubt about that.
Yeah. You work together for a half, especially if their starters are going to be in there. And that's going to tell you a ton of what you need to know about Gadecki. I mean, is he really start worthy? What if he just, under the lights, even though it's a preseason game? What if he pees down his leg? I don't think he will, but if he does, that's good to know that instead of in AT&T Stadium in a couple weeks.
Even if it's worst case scenario for Luke Gadecki, I mean, do you really think this coaching staff's going to be like, all right, well, let's get Nick Leverett in there now against Dallas?
Well, no, seriously, you don't know. There's a guy coming from Central Michigan. He walks into Jerry World. I mean, from what I've seen from the kid, I don't think he'll be overwhelmed, but you never know. This has happened before.
Could you see a scenario where if they play the whole first half, and we know the Colts are playing their starters first half, do we do one of these things where we're alternating series with Gadecki and Leverett to see how they both match up against starters? Or are we going to ride with Gadecki and see what happens here?
Well, this is all information that the coaches know a hell of a lot more than me. I listen, I think Gadecki is the guy going forward, and I think that's what the Bucs think. So I just, you don't have the luxury of going back and forth. You know what Leverett can do. He's been here a while. You know what he can do. You don't know what Gadecki can do. You don't know what it's going to be like when he gets into, the Indianapolis Dome and looks up. Still the RCA Dome. I don't know. They change them every year.
Lucas Oil?
Lucas Oil, RCA, whatever the hell it is. I never pay attention to those things because I don't pay for them and I don't get any of the money. So, but I mean, is he gonna, you never know how guys are going to react. And this is just preseason, but if he's out there and his mind is scrambled and it's just too much for him, that's going to be very, very telling. It means he's going to take some time to get used to it. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but you're going to find out. And that's why these guys got to be out there. They got to be out there. I mean, think about this. This guy coming from Central Michigan. All right. You're going to line up against, the Indianapolis Colts. In week 1, you're going to be in freaking AT&T Stadium against with the freaking star out there, and right to your right, right behind you, a yard is the GOAT. Okay, and all eyes are going to be on you on Sunday Night Football. Okay, this is no time for the timid. This is no time for people that aren't mentally strong, and you're going to be able to find out if Luke Gadecki can handle this to some degree when you put him out there for a whole half against the Colts. And that's what I got to see. I don't want him, I don't want to see, and I also want him to know that he has the confidence of this staff and say, look, we think you're the guy. We think you're the guy. We want you to go out and show it tonight against the Indianapolis Colts. I want you to don't be looking behind yourself for Nick Leverett. Don't be looking behind for a rusher that just went by you either. You're our guy. We have faith in you. So go out and do it. If you get Leverett out there and you're saying, you're hedging your bets, in the back of his mind, he's like, oh, I got to go out there and do something superhuman to lock it up. No, you're our guy. Go out there and play the way we think you could. You're going to make mistakes, but I want you to make mistakes full speed and know you're our guy, and we're going to stick with you, and let's go out there and do it. I think that's a much different mindset that you're putting in that player than, okay, we'll put you out first, but Nick's coming in after you. So, no.
No, I agree with that.
No,
I agree with that. Just throwing scenarios out there.
Yeah.
Because, I said earlier this week, I think it would do wonders for Gadecki's confidence to go ahead, and if he's the guy, and as Todd said, it's Gadecki's time. That was his words.
Yeah.
He said it's his time. If that's true, just go ahead and name the starter while you're at it. Just give him that confidence that you're our guy going into this final game and that you're not looking behind your shoulder, which, in all reality, I don't really think that's going on. Coaches are not going to sit up here and tell you, we don't believe in Nick Leverett at all, right?
Yeah.
But, we'll tell you, I probably don't believe in Nick Leverett as much. So
yeah. I think you drafted that guy, Gadecki, for a reason. It's his time. All right, let's cue it up. Let's listen to a little bit of Todd Bowles. And listen, as Nick is wont to say, as our producer, it's not the most exciting sound. And I know it's not, but it is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He is the head coach. He does. It may not be the most entertaining thing, but he gives us information, which I like.
He's like an old school journalist.
Yes,
he just gives you the information.
Just the facts, man. Just the facts. Just the facts from Todd Bowles. And away we go from yesterday's press conference. As soon as it's queued up and ready to go, and the buttons are pushed.
That's me.
And we get a question in.
People play in the preseason. Do you know if Brady's going to go on Saturday?
Everyone that's healthy will play.
All right, who's healthy? Okay, maybe it's not.
Obviously, everybody kind of handles
black and white as
how much people play in the preseason.
No, it wasn't difficult. We got together as a staff and as a team. We understand. We want to see certain things, so we're putting everybody out there.
Want to see certain things. Keep it simple. If you're healthy, you're going to play.
Anyone that's healthy will play.
Is Tristan Wirfs healthy? Brady healthy? Russell Gage healthy?
Some game reps as opposed to going forward against that.
It's important for game continuity. We have some new guys on the O-line. We have some new guys at receiver. So other than having practice together, we need to see them in the game with certain situations and just the flow of it, no matter how long it is. We just need to see it.
Coach, what are the three biggest things you look forward to see your Buccaneers play against the Colts this weekend?
Just consistency, penalty-free, hopefully. Just playing good, clean, fundamentally sound football. And if we can do that as a team and play together, I'll be happy with that. Starting out this game, yes.
What positions are you still looking at? Left guard, two receiver spots, kicker. What are some of the things that might be?
Left guard, there's a ton of guys at the receiver spot. Obviously, the corner spot is yet to be determined. Starting and backing up, and backup inside backers.
Starting corners
and
yet to be
a few
determined?
more special teams players. So we're looking at a lot of that this weekend.
Is that what he said? Starting corners yet to be determined?
Well, yeah, I hope so. Because if you recall, the only depth chart we had was Sean Murphy-Bunting opposite Carlton Davis. And I just fail to understand how that's possible.
Jamel Dean is not the other starting corner?
Well, do you recall? We don't look much into the first depth chart, but that's the only one we've seen so far. And Bunting was the two. So, yeah. You need to figure some things out. And also Zion McCollum, who might have been penciled in as cornerback 4, isn't practiced in a while because of the hammy.
No.
So he might have dropped a little bit. So there is stuff to go there.
Yep. Here comes D. Delaney.
Yeah. Back to Bowles here.
You guys added Jannard Avery from the Steelers. Just looking for another possible pass rusher there, or special teams. What's behind that?
He's a good pass rusher and he's a good teams player. So we thought it was a value to have him. And rather than look for somebody like that in the middle of the season in case someone gets hurt, we thought it'd be value to adding him right now. He's big, he's tough, he's very smart. He understands the game well. When he plays with leverage, he's a force and he's a lot of weight. At time to time, quickness might beat him here and there, but he's been working on his technique with Goody and Joe, and he's come along good.
To that effect, what about Brandon Walton? He's a guy that kind of snuck up on us gotten some reps with the ones.
Brandon's been steady all camp. He's a steady Eddie guy. He understands what he's doing. He has proper technique. He's tough, and he fits the need. He can play left guard or right guard, so he's been doing well.
How has Carl Nassib looked in his first week back here with the Bucs?
Well, still getting in some playing shape, being off all that time, but he understands a lot of the scheme. He's still strong at the point of attack. Just got to clean up some fundamental work.
What kind of progress were you able to see this week from Chris Godwin? I know he didn't practice today, but it seems like he got some good work in.
He got some good work in. He's getting better. He's getting his wind up. He's getting his legs under him, but he's getting better. Obviously, no contact or anything, but he's getting better every week.
Zion McCullum went down in Nashville. Do you have a sense for when he might go to come back to practice?
Not at this time. Obviously, it's a hamstring injury. We're just trying to take it day by day to see where he is.
Todd, along those lines, you've got a lot of secondary guys who seem down right now. Are you concerned about just having enough bodies Saturday?
No, we'll have enough bodies. We got guys that we cross-trained in the spring. We'll have enough bodies to get through the game.
When you're, assembling those final pieces on the roster, you're looking at special teams, right? Grant Stewart's a guy that's done so much for you on special teams. I think he's been doing it with an injury. How tricky does that make the final roster composition?
It's very tricky. There's a lot of guys that had a lot of time. 03, Fadakasi and JJ have played well. Grant's a good teams player. KJ's in there too. So this game will tell a lot.
Overview of camp as your first year here as the head coach?
I thought the guys did a good job of hydrating. I thought they did a good job taking care of each other at practice. I thought we got a lot of work done. Obviously, there's more to go, but I thought we grew from the first day till now, which is what you're supposed to do in camp.
It's unprecedented for a player to take 11 days off in training camp, right, let alone a quarterback. With that break, how much ground did Tom have to make up any from a conditioning standpoint? Is he okay now from a conditioning standpoint? I know I saw him go in the little cold tent, whatever you want to call it, the freezer, whatever you want to call it, I think like 3 times today.
No, they've done that since camp has started. No, I don't think it takes off anything from him. He missed 11 days, but he wasn't playing in the first 2. You count his days off, plus the days off naturally, he would only practice about 3 times. So he's fine with everything. We know his conditioning is fine. He's getting back with the guys. He's throwing the ball, and we're good.
What kind of reports you built up about before Julio and some of the newer players you brought in?
I think it was built up before we left. It's just having everybody intact practicing at the same time. His days would have fallen the same days Julio was off, and obviously Mike being injured. We didn't have a full slate there either, but they got to see a lot of things from the side and got to talk a lot, and I think the chemistry is good.
Been a proponent of work-life balance, right? Coach Arians was kind of notorious for telling you guys, like, don't miss your kids' recitals and things like that. With Tom taking that 11-day break to tend to personal things, is that something we might see more of throughout the NFL? I mean, if Brady, a 7-time Super Bowl winner, does it?
If it wasn't a situation that we hadn't talked about and wasn't important, I wouldn't have done it. So obviously, I have that kind of relationship, as well do the coaches, with a lot of the players, and they all have private things that they come to us with. His just came to light more than the others, and we won't sway away from that. We don't give nobody breaks just to take breaks.
Which means there wasn't the masked
How
singer.
important is it when you have something like that come up? I understand it's an individual basis. Having that open dialogue, having that communication where you and your quarterback can talk to each other very honestly.
It's important because it develops trust. You want trust with your team. You want trust with your guys. Everybody understands this is a hard business and a hard sport, but people have personal lives that go unseen at some point, and sometimes you have to do things that are difficult decisions.
Hey, pause that for a sec. I think it's just we've talked so much about the Brady situation, and there's a lot of outside noise about it, and to me it makes very little sense to and that's not what Jenna was saying, but she was just asking the question that needed to be asked. As obvious as the answer seems to us, I think from the outside it's not very obvious, but clearly to me, I think this break, and I've said this many times, so I hate that I'm repeating myself, but I think it's great physically from a mind, body, spirit. We heard Rondé talk about it yesterday that, and he brought up a great point. There are no 45-year-old quarterbacks that are starting in the NFL. And when you're 45 years old, you have a ton of different responsibilities from a family standpoint that not many players do, to be quite honest with you. Your kids are older, and obviously his life is so supremely complicated on so many levels. So yeah, I mean, this to me was an absolute no-brainer. It's a no-brainer because you want to have your quarterback in the best mental space that you could possibly be, especially a quarterback who beats you with a mental game. You want to have his mind clear and in a good family space, mind, body, spirit. And that trust is what is so absolutely critical. And it's one of the things I loved about Bruce Arians when he started to change the culture here. That was a big part of it. These players knew they trusted in Bruce because he'd been there and he'd done it. And they knew that the way that he ran a football team was going to bring them success. And that's not always been the case here. We've had a lot of coaches that just didn't know, that I think had some very talented teams that they never lived up to them. And I would put Schiano in that category. Maybe not Schiano. Those teams weren't that talented, but certainly Dirk Cutter. Dirk Cutter had some very talented teams that they just couldn't get over the hump, especially in some of those years where they put up some good numbers, but turnovers and the way he managed games, you could see that a lot in the way some of these coaches have come in. But Bruce Arians changed that. He develops a trust with the players so that he can criticize them in public, and it's not an issue because he says the same things in private, but those players know that he has their best interest in mind. And it's the same thing with Todd Bowles. And when you hear players talk about Todd Bowles and how much they trust him and how much they run through a wall to play for him, these are critical things for success in the NFL. If players don't trust the coach, and we saw this with John Gruden, quite frankly, when I was covering the team, the players, told me to a man that they didn't really trust what he was saying to them because he would say one thing to one player and then go over and say something completely different to another. Thinking it's like Ernest Graham told me, he's like, does he think me and Cadillac don't talk? I mean, we're best friends.
Keyshawn said that on
exactly.
Get Up or something earlier this year when the whole Gruden stuff came out. So that's not surprising.
Yeah. And so, and that's why Gruden has been good in his first years, but then after a while it wears on you. And so with Bruce and Todd and all these, they have a great trusting relationship with their players and it works both ways. They trust their players to come with them with personal issues and say, we'll work it out. And they know damn well that the rest of the team is not going to get pissed off.
Yeah. Well, I think in all sports, and especially football, because there's 53 guys, obviously, 10 more, including the practice squad, whatever it is. But it takes a certain type of head coach to deal with all these personalities in that locker room. We know that.
Yes.
And especially with this Bucs team, because there's stars everywhere. There's guys with Super Bowls, with multiple Super Bowls. I mean, Tom freaking Brady's your quarterback, as we just discussed.
Top 5 picks.
It's like there are certain coaches who can do that and some that can't. I mean, you name some of those coaches. Could I ever see Tom Brady and Greg Schiano?
No.
And
no.
Could I ever see Tom Brady and Dirk Cutter? No, I could not.
Or John Gruden? No.
Probably not.
No.
But for some reason, it works with Bruce Arians and it works with Todd Bowles.
Yeah, he's a perfect match for them, and I think that was a really interesting thing that he said and detailed. So let's go ahead and finish up.
Actually drafted his brother when you were with the Jets. I mean, how much does that factor into?
He's talking about
Fudikasi. Decision about a player, like knowing the family that they come from and maybe seeing similarities.
He drafted his brother, I believe.
I don't think that'll help him. His brother was a heck of a player. He still is. He's a nose tackle. I think he's in Jacksonville now. Really liked him at UConn. 03 has made a name for himself out of his brother's shadow. I knew the person because I met him at Rutgers one time when I went to see my son. But he's made a name for himself despite his brother, and he's put himself in the mix and in a good position.
I love that kid, man.
Mandatory minicamp. Obviously, things change when guys put the pads on and the lights come on. Has he lived up to your expectations, or what has he shown you?
He's been very good. I mean, we got a lot of talented guys over there. I'm not taking anything away from any of them. Devin has shown us toughness. He can catch the ball. He can run routes. He returns punts. He's quick. All of them have a special skill set. It just comes down to the end and how we see it and how they play, and we'll see Saturday.
most of these receiver decisions are going to be based on whether they think they can get them to the practice squad. They may not even take the best guys. And I don't know if they can get Tompkins to the practice squad. I think there's been too much press on him. I think he's shown too much in the games. People have tape on him. I think if they try to get him to the practice squad, somebody's going to gobble him up. But I can say the same thing about Tyler Johnson and the same thing about Scotty Miller and the same thing about Jalen Darden. I think they've got some real issues. And Jarrett Stearns, you could put in there as well. So good luck on that.
You didn't even mention Perriman either, by the way.
I mean, we go. He's done.
I know, but we're going like 10 deep here at receiver.
Yeah.
Guys who I think legitimately
they need to expand the NFL rosters. They need to expand them.
Maybe.
Whatever. Although, it does even out the talent though. That's why the NFL is the best parity in all of sports, is because of their rules and the way they do things. It's brilliant. The baseball, take a page. All right, we'll take a break, and when we come back, we're gonna get into the Rays. A big 8-3 win yesterday, and not only do they keep a hold on that wild card, but we got Pat ready to go. Let's take a quick break. Pat, I think he has to go use the restroom anyway. I think he told me that. So we'll take a quick break here, and we'll get back. Pat Burnham's coming up next. We're going to talk some Florida State football. I'll be headed up there, and then we'll get to the Rays as well. Stay with us.
Let me tell you about Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Are you experiencing low sex drive, fatigue, hot flashes, moodiness, and you just don't feel like you have the vitality you once had? You're not just getting old, it's likely low testosterone. Studies over the last 20 years show a shocking decline in younger males aged 16 to 39. Older men have seen a sharp decline as well. Do something about it. Go see my friend Christopher Lugo at Bay Area Modern Medicine. Testosterone replacement is not a frivolous treatment. It takes a professional, targeted approach that focuses on total body wellness, vitality, and emotional stability. Not a one-size-fits-all approach like many clinics use. They will monitor your blood work and adjust your treatment as needed for optimal results. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling.
Military veterans, are you struggling with alcoholism or substance abuse? Is it taking a toll on your relationships and your work life? Are you having trouble focusing, constantly anxious? Well, you may not be surprised to know that your fellow military vets have your six. Heroes Mile is a new concept in rehabilitation clinics, veterans helping veterans. At Heroes Mile, we staff our rehab center with fellow veterans who can understand what you're going through. Our mission is to help you heal from issues that only your fellow veterans can truly understand. Located just outside of DeLand, we offer a full range of inpatient and outpatient programs dealing with substance abuse, post-traumatic stress, and military sexual trauma. We choose to serve veterans because we know how complex these issues are. You could choose to fight the battle alone or win the war together. We are the community care provider with the VA and also accept most major insurance. At Heroes Mile Rehabilitation Center, we have your six. Go to heroesmile.com or call 888-VET-NOW-2. That's heroesmile.com or call 888-VET-NOW-2. Attention, if you are home shopping or looking for a refinance, and even if you already have the approval letter, you must call my man Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Scott has a brand new program available in the greater Tampa Bay area called the Community Advantage Loan Program. Get this, no money down, no mortgage insurance, no points, no origination fee, purchase or refinance, and loan amounts up to $647,000. Now, there are some application requirements. It must be a single-family home, 1 unit, primary residence, and have a minimum 640 credit score. The program only applies to certain neighborhoods, so you have to call to find out if you qualify. So call Scott Fitzgerald at 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Now, even if you don't qualify for that program, Scott will shop your loan around, get you the best rates, and won't charge you the huge upfront fees. And if you've had issues with your bank calling you back, Scott will return calls immediately or at least the same day. 813-294-7595, or email him, scott@amstampa.com. Scott Fitzgerald, MLS 386-722, American Mortgage Services, 1000 North Ashley Drive, Suite 1020, Tampa, Florida.
Hey guys, Serena Fazan here for the Golden Diamond Source. Are you looking for the hottest trends in men's jewelry? Ladies love to see men spice it up with something cool from the Golden Diamond Source. Whether you're looking for a gold chain, fashion rings, even a pre-owned Rolex watch, or thinking about getting engaged, there's only one place to go. Go see my friends, Julie and Steve Weintraub at the Golden Diamond Source for your one-stop jewelry supercenter. It's never been more important to shop local and support the businesses that support our amazing Tampa Bay community. None better than the great folks at the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Ulmerton Road, or online at goldendiamond.com.
That's what I'm talking about right there. Now I'm in the mood to talk some Seminole football. Let's bring in our good friend Pat Burnham from the Osceola, recruiting analyst and football analyst, now with Rivals 247 as the Osceola joins up with them. What's up, Pat? How are you, buddy?
Man, ready for Saturday afternoon in Doak Campbell Stadium. It's been a long time since the end of last season, and looking forward to seeing what kind of, if the improvements we've seen from this team in camp translate to Duquesne, and they should. And obviously an important week as they get ready to head to New Orleans next week.
I shouldn't even ask this question, but I'll ask it anyway. Duquesne's not as good as Jacksonville State, right?
They are not. Now, listen, they are a solid program. There's no doubt. Jerry Schmidt, the head coach, has been there going on his 18th year, and he is their all-time winningest coach. But they are not. They're a solid program in the Northeast Conference. They've been to the FCS playoffs twice since 2015. The last time coming in 2018. But no, this is not. You're not. This team should not resemble Jacksonville State, nor should the result on Saturday afternoon.
Oh God, let's hope so. But I heard the student section is sold out, right? Or what kind of crowd are we expecting? Is it going to be a 40,000, or could we get up to 70?
I'm going to say 60. I'm going to go right at 60. I'm not going to get crazy carried away with it. It's August. It's 5:00 in Tallahassee. It is probably going to be jungle hot and humid.
Yes.
So I think
lightning delay is possible as well.
Oh yeah, this is the game that will last till midnight. You're exactly right. You're exactly right.
And I got a Bucs game to watch at 7:30, so I'm hoping this is lickety split, but I doubt
That's
it's
right. And your boy's playing.
That's right.
After his much anticipated return, TB12 is going to hit the field for the Bucs.
I hate to even do this live on the air, but I'm trying to think that I don't think the Bucs have a Seminole on the roster, which is probably a good thing given the talent that we turned out the past few years.
Yeah, and the talent level is getting better, JP. If that makes you feel any better.
But I don't think we do. So I think that's a good thing at this point. All right, but let's talk about the talent level at FSU. And first, let's start with Jordan Travis at quarterback. He has come a long way, and we've seen his development. You've seen him in practice, and we're hearing great things. We know he's a great leader. We know he's a great gamer. We know he's a tremendous runner. How is he evolving as a passer? And he's got a lot more weapons now to work with.
Yeah, well, listen, he's more consistent. This is his third year in Mike Norvell's offense. He's surrounded by more talent, at least in theory, than he has been his entire career at Florida State. Should be surrounded by a good defense. So you would think that Jordan's going to have his best year as a starting quarterback at Florida State. Obviously, this is show me time, right? We've seen them go against each other. I'd make the argument that the way teams practice today, it's never been harder to determine exactly what you have because, we don't see the scrimmages where they tackle. We have not seen them play 11-on-11 live football because of the way they practice by today's standards. So, but all accounts are that he's going to have more talent around him than he ever has. He's going to get better protection than he ever has in the past game. And listen, I think he is even more dangerous when he can play within the confines of the system and doesn't have to make as many plays on his own, because then when he does make those natural plays that he has, they become that much more unexpected when he can drop back and pass the ball effectively and on third down or second long or whatever it is. But yes, I'm expecting him to have his best year.
And we talk about weapons. We'll get into that. We got a couple of Tampa Bay kids that are going to really factor in, and that's Tampa Bay Tech product Treshaun Ward at running back, and Lawrence Teofili, who I think with a better offensive line is still a very explosive player. And Micah Pittman was actually born here in Tampa. And then we've heard Johnny Wilson from Arizona State, the 6'7" kid, has been putting on a show. So let's talk a little bit about the weapons that Jordan Travis is going to have.
Well, listen, obviously, Treshaun Ward held off Trey Benson for the starting job at running back. Obviously, Toafili is going to get his chances. He may get for some first and second down carries, but certainly he has a third down weapon with his versatility, not only to be able to catch the ball in the backfield, but also line up in the slot. Johnny Wilson had a very strong finish to camp. I think there's a lot expected of him. We'll see how it goes. Micah Pittman has gotten more consistent as the camp has gone on, but certainly guys that can be difference makers for this team. And then, of course, Deuce Spann is also the transfer from Illinois, who's also a Central Florida kid down there in Orlando, Tampa area. He's a kid that's second year playing wide receiver and is listed as a co-starter, which means he finished camp really strong because you didn't see him as a starter, the first 3 or 4 days of camp. And then of course, I think as everyone is excited about those skill kids, and they should be, they ought to be equally excited about the addition of a guy like Bless Harris from Lamar, who's exceeded my expectations and how quickly he's transitioned from FCS level to the FBS Power 5 level. And then, we'll see Dimitri Emmanuel, the guard from Charlotte, has also locked down a spot on the right side at right guard. I think those guys can make just as big a difference in the offense as the skill guys. You just notice the skill guys more.
I got to cop to watching some offensive line porn. I saw some FSU pictures of our guys, and it got me excited, to be honest with you, because they look way different than they've looked in the past 3 or 4 years. These guys look like actual D1 offensive linemen, and I got to tell you, I did get a little excited looking at these guys. Do they play like they look, I guess?
Listen, they're playing better and better, and the freshman class they brought in, JP, Julian O'Mella, Jalen Early, Quayshawn Sapp, Kanaya Charlton, those guys, several of those guys have a chance to be really good players and a lot of road to hoe. They've got a lot of development to work, but certainly some guys, if they progress physically the way they're supposed to, and there's no peripheral things that get in the way, you got to like where this team is going as far as this offensive line. And really, listen, there's a difference in the way that I think I said it the last time I was on your show. There's a difference in the way this team carries itself versus Mike's first 2 teams and certainly Willie's last one. So it's the best team that we have, as far as potential that we have seen in the 4 years that the Osceola has been back covering Florida State sports.
That's awesome. Patrick Burnham joining us here. He's been watching practice and been out there. We'll talk a little defense now, and nobody expects Jared Verse, the transfer from Albany, to be Jermaine Johnson, but everything I read is, well, this guy's really good. But Jermaine was super, super special, obviously, where he was drafted. But how good can Jared Verse be, and how good can this defense be?
Well, I think a lot of the answers that we want, we'll get a glimpse of some of those answers on Saturday afternoon, but when we'll really start to see is in week 2 and week 3 against LSU and Louisville. But again, Jared Verse, I would put him right up there with Bless Harris, a guy because of the transition he has some questions on. He certainly has some great physical tools to work with, but a guy that I would say is probably ahead of where I thought he would be. I'm going to let Jared Verse be Jared Verse. I'm not Jermaine Johnson is his own person. He was different than Janarius Robinson and some of the other ends that came in before him. Own skill set, own strengths and weaknesses. But certainly you put him with Dennis Briggs and Derek McClendon and, then even a guy like Leonard Warner, they are certainly have a chance to have a dominant front 4 and a deep front 4. That you're just talking about the edge guys. We haven't even talked about Lovett and Cooper and Jackson. Farmer. I mean, those guys inside could really be a difference maker. And, listen, you got some questions at linebacker. You're not very deep. You lost a kid for the year. Earlier in the week with Steven Dix going out for the year. So you're down to 6 linebackers at 2 spots. And one of those linebackers is a true freshman. The other one's a converted safety. So really, you got 4 guys that have played linebacker at those 2 spots. So it's going to be critical that they stay healthy at linebacker, particularly with Tatum Bethune. You don't want to lose him because he's the best linebacker Florida State's had in quite some time. And then of course, listen, there is a ton of talented kids in that secondary. If they could have 8 or 9 productive players, maybe even 10, that's a very competitive secondary. Wow. You got 2 true freshmen that are going to play a lot of footballs from what we can see in Azariah Thomas, corner, and also Sam McCall. They are both listed as co-backups, I believe, behind Amari and Cooper. But listen, got to stay. There's some, questions at a couple of positions as far as depth are concerned, but I think Florida State fans have a right to be excited about this team.
Man, I'm getting excited just listening to you. Patrick Burnham joining us here. One other thing that Mike Norvell talked about when he first came in and has been known for is special teams. And we haven't really seen that in the first couple of years. And a lot of that is because, the talent hasn't been very good. You got to have good players on all teams. Do you expect the special teams to be better and be a difference maker this season?
Well, we say this every time special teams comes up. If it's not better this year, it's not for lack of trying. I mean, they spend an extraordinary amount of time on special teams. I don't care whether they're in full pads or helmets and shorts. There's, at least 33% of the practice is special teams work. You've got, like you said, you've got some guys that have transferred in or signed with the team that have a chance to make a difference in the return game, with Pittman and Spann for sure. And then Sam McCall is going to get a chance at both kickoff return and punt return. Listen, I think you got to pick your spots in kickoff return. You get the ball to 25, right, and catch it. So I think you got to be really good to return it every single time. But yeah, I think Mike knows. I think you got some special athletes. It's one of the few times where you can guarantee that they'll get a ball in space, is in the kick return game, particularly in kickoff return. Now, punt return coverage teams get down pretty quick. But, we've seen some nice things out of Pittman in the return game. Obviously, McCall is going to be a factor. Spann's going to be a factor, and then Keyshawn Helton will also be in there as well. But, yeah, I think you'll see, you'd like to see him get a couple of block kicks during the course of the year. Those have every bit as impact as everybody gets focused on the kickoff return and punt return game. But, there's explosive plays that happen on the defensive side of the special teams too. And so, but yes, I think they'll be more aggressive. I do, but I think you also got to pick your spots because of the fact that the rules, give you the ball on the 25-yard line in a kickoff return game.
All right, so real quick, I know the players aren't allowed to look ahead, but I am. I'll be in New Orleans to watch them play LSU. I know you've probably peeked ahead to that game a little bit. We'll learn a lot, I guess, in the dress rehearsal here against Duquesne. But do you think FSU can go toe-to-toe with LSU in the Superdome there?
Yeah, listen, I think there's a lot of unknowns about LSU. Obviously, they got a quarterback battle going on right now. They have an offensive line that's going to probably start at least one true freshman and at least 2 guys that transferred in. They're extremely deep at wide receiver. We did about a 20-minute catching up with LSU podcast the other day with the LSU beat writer. If you want to go to the Osceola Florida State Rivals Network, you can catch that there. But certainly, yes, I do. Listen, it's going to – I don't think anybody really knows what to expect, right? Brian Kelly took over a team that had about 40 scholarship players playing its bowl game. They brought in, I think he said, 19 transfers on this team. How quickly can they assimilate? Florida State's got – same situation. They got a lot of guys that are going to play key roles that have transferred in. But, the thing that he said, it was Ron Higgins, who writes for Tiger Details, is who we did it with. The thing that surprised me, particularly with all these offseason madness surrounding Brian Kelly with the fake Southern accent and the dancing with recruits on the stage and all
was
that.
weird. That was all just weird.
So I was one of the questions I had for him is how have they adapted to Kelly, and he goes, they have really taken to him. They bought into what he's trying to do, and listen, he thinks they're going to be more well coached than they have been anytime over the last 2 or 3 years, but. I don't think they're a last place SEC West team as they've been picked by some to do. I think they're more middle of the road. But yes, there's no reason Florida State can't go and compete with these guys. I mean, this is not the national championship LSU team we remember.
Right.
Listen, I think the hard part for probably for Florida State is you're going to have to prepare for 2 quarterbacks because they have not decided between the kid from Arizona State, Jaden McDaniels, and then Garrett Nussmeier, and they're 2 different type of quarterbacks now. Daniels is more of a weapon with his feet, and according to Higgins, Nussmeier loves to push the ball downfield, and he's got some receivers to do it. So yes, we got a whole week to talk about that game.
Yeah, we do. I just want to get a little taste.
I don't think you're going in there and playing you don't have to be world beaters to beat LSU this early.
Okay. Hey, real quick, anything the fans need to know? Any fan stuff going on before the game, or if anybody's heading up there, anything special going on, tailgates, any of that stuff? I mean,
we're actually the Osceola is going to do a kind of a social from 5 to 6 at Tally and Finn, which is just right next to Couches in College Town, and we'll be there from 5 to 6 to meet and greet people.
I will be there.
I'm sure there'll be a beer or 2 drank, and then we're just going to hang out from we're going to do a live remote from 5 to 6, and then hang out from about 6 to about 8. And,
on Friday.
On Friday.
Because the game's at 5 o'clock on Saturday.
Yeah. So it'll be tonight, and we'll just kind of be hanging out, and we'd like to meet some of our subscribers and just talk a little football, and week 0 is fun, but I think we're all looking forward to about 8:30 on Saturday night when we can start making some evaluations of this football team and start looking ahead to Labor Day weekend in New Orleans.
Well, we'll see you there about 6 o'clock, my friend. So we'll share a beverage. Promote your content and let folks know where they can get that podcast that you mentioned and all the rest of your content.
Yeah, we are the Florida State rival site. In fact, we have a Osceola tailgate podcast where we talk about preview the game, talk about what's going on in and around Tallahassee. But you can go to floridastate.n.rivals.com, and there's a page full of content, game preview, 5 things that we're looking for in this game that are critical to this opening the season. And then, of course, we've got Reeling Them In recruiting podcast. We visited with Ryan Wright, a national recruiting analyst for Rivals yesterday, to review the entire offensive commitment list for 2023 for Florida State. So a ton of stuff, but floridastaterivals.com.
All right. Thank you, partner. Appreciate it, Pat. We'll see you tomorrow.
All right, guys. Thanks.
See you tonight. I guess it will be.
Yeah, I'll see you.
All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back on the other side. We'll get to the Rays as they get a big 8-3 win yesterday, sweeping the Angels. They've won 6 in a row. But what does yesterday's game tell us about this murderer's row of September we're about to witness for the Rays? I think it's all good. So we'll talk about that next. JP here for Emerging Investigations, Tampa Bay's premier investigation agency. Do you suspect your spouse is cheating or involved in a divorce, that your spouse is hiding money, an ex-employee or current employee with suspicious behavior? Is there a criminal matter you need help with? If you need information you can count on, using the professionals at Emerging Investigations is a slam dunk. Emerging Investigations is a licensed and insured private investigation agency, family-owned. Emerging is your ideal resource to secure evidence and validation, allowing you to make informed decisions in life's biggest matters. Led by industry executive Brian D'Antonio, Emerging possesses the experience and resources to get needed results. Emerging Investigations maintains an excellent reputation as a premier investigation agency. They are known for results. You're not just hiring a PI, but an organized, dedicated team using state-of-the-art technology. Their proven investigative methods produce crucial information used in criminal cases, insurance fraud, and personal injury claims. Many local attorneys, industry agencies, and your concerned neighbors all count on Emerging Investigations. Just go to their website, emerginginv.com, or call 813-291-FACT. That's 813-291-FACT-3228. Get results you can trust in life's biggest matters. Emerging Investigations. Now is the time to make sure your home insurance is in order. In the last year, many of us have made improvements to our homes. So call the folks at Italiano and discuss these upgrades to make sure you have enough coverage. According to a recent report, almost 64% of homeowners don't have enough insurance on their home, which is their most valuable asset. Also, a great time to make sure you have flood insurance. Even if your mortgage company does not require flood insurance, your home could still be at flood risk. Another big item as we enter hurricane season is making sure your pool enclosure is added to your policy and there will be no issue at claim time. That happens a lot. So call your friendly agent at Italiano Insurance to review your policies today. 813-877-7799 or ItalianoInsurance.com.
Hey guys, Serena Fazan here for the Gold and Diamond Source. Are you looking for the hottest trends in men's jewelry? Ladies love to see men spice it up with something cool from the Gold and Diamond Source. Whether you're looking for a gold chain, fashion rings, even a pre-owned Rolex watch, or thinking about getting engaged, there's only one place to go. Go see my friends, Julie and Steve Weintraub at the Gold and Diamond Source for your one-stop jewelry supercenter. It's never been more important to shop local and support the businesses that support our amazing Tampa Bay community. None better than the great folks at the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Ulmerton Road, or online at goldendiamond.com.
Attention, if you are home shopping or looking for a refinance, and even if you already have the approval letter, you must call my man Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Scott has a brand new program available in the greater Tampa Bay area called the Community Advantage Loan Program. Get this, no money down, no mortgage insurance, no points, no origination fee, purchase or refinance, and loan amounts up to $647,000. Now, there are some application requirements. It must be a single-family home, one unit, primary residence, and have a minimum 640 credit score. The program only applies to certain neighborhoods, so you have to call to find out if you qualify. So call Scott Fitzgerald at 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Now, even if you don't qualify for that program, Scott will shop your loan around, get you the best rates, and won't charge you the huge upfront fees. And if you've had issues with your bank calling you back, Scott will return calls immediately, or at least the same day. 813-294-7595 or email him, scott@amstampa.com. Scott Fitzgerald, MLS 386722, American Mortgage Services, 1000 North Ashley Drive, Suite 1020, Tampa, Florida. Military veterans, are you struggling with alcoholism or substance abuse? Is it taking a toll on your relationships and your work life? Are you having trouble focusing, constantly anxious? Well, you may not be surprised to know that your fellow military vets have your six. Heroes Mile is a new concept in rehabilitation clinics, veterans helping veterans. At Heroes Mile, we staff our rehab center with fellow veterans who can understand what you're going through. Our mission is to help you heal from issues that only your fellow veterans can truly understand. Located just outside of DeLand, we offer a full range of inpatient and outpatient programs dealing with substance abuse, post-traumatic stress, and military sexual trauma. We choose to serve veterans because we know how complex these issues are. You could choose to fight the battle alone or win the war together. We are the community care provider with the VA and also accept most major insurance. At Heroes Mile Rehabilitation Center, we have your six. Go to heroesmile.com or call 888-VET-NOW-2. That's heroesmile.com or call 888-VET-NOW-2.
Guys, let me tell you about Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Are you experiencing low sex drive, fatigue, hot flashes, moodiness, and you just don't feel like you have the vitality you once had? You're not just getting old, it's likely low testosterone. Studies over the last 20 years show a shocking decline in younger males aged 16 to 39. Older men have seen a sharp decline as well. do something about it. Go see my friend Christopher Lugo at Bay Area Modern Medicine. Testosterone replacement is not a frivolous treatment. It takes a professional, targeted approach that focuses on total body wellness, vitality, and emotional stability. Not a one-size-fits-all approach like many clinics use. They will monitor your blood work and adjust your treatment as needed for optimal results. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's rock. This is FanStream Sports with JP.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by Emerging Investigations, Tampa Bay's premier investigation agency. If you suspect your spouse is cheating or you're involved in a divorce, spouse might be hiding money, or an ex-employee, someone, or you're involved in a criminal matter you need some help with, whatever it is, you can get information you can count on by using the professionals at Emerging Investigations. They are a licensed and insured PI agency, family-owned and operated. They are your ideal source to secure evidence to make informed decisions in life's biggest matters. Don't take matters into your own hands, looking at social media, doing GPS trackers. They even have whole stores now to surveil other people. Don't do it yourself. Let the professionals do it. They maintain an excellent reputation as a premier investigation agency. They are known for results. You're not just hiring a PI, but an organized, dedicated team using state-of-the-art technology. Their proven investigative methods produce crucial information used in criminal cases, insurance fraud, personal injury claims, and divorce. Many local attorneys and insurance agencies use them, so you should too. Trust them. EmergingINV.com is the website, or call 813-291-FACT, 813-291-FACT. I know what a fact is. Manuel Margot helps the Rays score runs. His presence back in this lineup is the main reason right now where I feel like the Rays have a shot at actually doing something in the postseason. Their pitching is a given. Obviously, that's going to be their strength, but they've got to be able to score runs against some of the best pitchers in the game, because that's what you get in the playoffs. And the offense that we saw for the last couple of months was just not going to get it. They're just not going to get it. But the Rays knew that they were getting guys back. The addition of Harold Ramirez has been fantastic. Beryl Ramirez, as we love to call him here. They're really starting to hit their stride now. And I know that they sweep the Angels. They're not a good team, but they weren't beating the teams that they should beat earlier in the year. Now they are. That's a great sign. They've won 6 games in a row. I think it's 11 of 13 now. Margot was 4 for 5 yesterday. And Zach Paredes hit a home run, which is his second in 3 days. Again, this is a young player that hasn't gotten a lot of opportunity until now. So maybe this is what he can be in this offense. And now that he's getting this opportunity, he's not facing a whole hell of a lot of tough right-handers. These are guys that are put in position to do what they do best. And one of the things he does best is hit home runs like he did yesterday. There's another one.
2-2 and a high fly ball back to deep left. Adele back, and that ball is gone. Number 16 for Paredes.
That's 16 home runs, bro.
Do I need to tell you how many that Austin Meadows has this year?
Who's Austin Meadows?
I don't know. Do I need to tell you that?
Still a crappy trade. No, I'll eat that one. I'll eat that one.
He has 0 home runs this year.
He's not playing.
He has
at all.
not played much. He keeps. It's been unfortunate for him though.
It's injuries.
I think he had COVID. Injuries have piled up. I think he had a setback.
How much motivation can you have playing for that team?
I don't know.
In that town, just like looking down. I mean, I'm sure he doesn't miss the Trop, but I'm sure he misses the Rays.
His stock has unfortunately dropped a lot since the Rays have traded him. But
as I always say, though, I don't judge these trades based on what they do when they leave.
Well,
it's more about what they did when they were here.
Yeah,
but listen, the Rays
if,
may have seen something coming that was a downturn, or they could have predicted that he was going to be,
as we said
get
at the
COVID
time,
and be injured.
As we said at the time,
wink,
and
wink.
I always knew that he was a trade candidate and had no problem with it because he probably peaked in 2019. The Rays saw that, didn't probably see like this is a player they want to invest it in because they saw a noticeable dip. You can't play defense on this club. You can't be here. That's the rule.
Yeah.
That's why
versatile.
That's why Manuel Margot got the contract. And I remember where we were when the Rays signed Manuel Margot to that contract.
Yeah.
And we both were like, what the heck are they doing? And this was like a few days after they traded Meadows.
Yeah.
And if he hasn't rewarded the Rays so far, his hitting this year has taken to a whole nother level. And we forget that Manuel Margot used to be a top prospect for his hitting. And he's finally putting it together. And since he's come back right here.
How old is he now?
Manuel Margot?
26?
He is 27.
27.
He's 27.
Putting grown-ass man.
Yeah, he's putting it together. And since he's come back, only a 5-game sample size, but he's hitting well over 300, driving in runs, 4 hits last night. I mean, this
and
guy
to be off 2.5
everything.
months and be able to come back and do this, I wasn't expecting much from these guys, especially at first. But 4 for 5, the 2-run triple yesterday was the big hit of the game.
Yeah.
So yeah, what and Ramirez coming back. You know, one of the big disappointments of the year has been the fact that Josh Lowe, who was supposed to take Meadows' spot, just was not able to do it.
Yeah.
And you know, and not saying that his career is over by no means, but we were expecting big things from him, and he's still got a ton of talent. But you know, that's for another
been
time.
mashing it though in the minors, man. I mean, every time I follow Durham. I don't watch the games obviously at Durham, but I
hope not.
I know, but I follow all of it along on Twitter, and every time I see an update, it's like Josh Lowe did it. Like I think he hit 2 home runs the other night. Jonathan Aranda hit another home run. I think he has 18-game hit streak going on.
He's going to win the Triple Crown.
I don't
in the
know.
I-League.
Again, it's like I don't know where you put him on this team, but it feels like he deserves to be on this team.
Well, they got 2 call-ups.
They got 2 call-ups. I'm almost guaranteeing he's coming back up there.
He's got to be one of them.
God,
Is Josh the other one? Or they probably take a picture.
Yeah, they'll probably put a picture. I'll tell you who it won't be. It won't be Brendan McKay, who did you see last night?
No.
Oh my.
Did he lit up again?
No.
You got hurt again?
He threw 1 pitch.
Come on.
And came out of the game. And now he's being reevaluated.
Wow.
And it seems like it's another setback.
He was a 4th overall pick, wasn't he?
3rd overall pick for Brendan
pick.
McKay. And
who did we not pick? Who went behind him? I don't even want to know.
I'm scared to look at that.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, he was an obvious choice.
He was an obvious
choice. He was a 2-way player, Golden Spikes. You know, you hope for the best, but it
doesn't look like he's ever going to make it back up to the big league. I mean, he was right here. He was supposed to start last night, and he throws 1 pitch, and we have a setback already. It's brutal for Brendan McKay.
You know, and just I don't know him, but I know some people that do that followed him at Louisville, and they just speak so highly of him as a young man. It's too bad. Go ahead, just say it. Just say it.
Well, the guy who went, Brendan McKay went 4th. He did go 4th. The guy who went 3rd is Mackenzie Gore, who is the one that was the big piece in the Juan Soto trade. He's a pretty good pitcher. The guy behind him is Kyle Wright, who I believe made the All-Star game this year for the Braves.
Right.
So he's sandwiched in between 2 guys who are probably going to be front of the line rotation guys.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's Brendan McKay. And the other one too, remember, you know Hunter Green, right?
Yeah.
Hunter Green went 2. So there's 4 pitchers that went 4 in a row, and Brendan McKay is the only one that has not
developed
in the big leagues. None of that. So
whoopsie. So it goes. All right, but this team is the one that where it really matters, and they won 11 of 13, 6 in a row now. Margot was 4 for 5 last night. Who else? Oh, Rasmussen. How about this cat? Now, and we were reading today in Topkins' article that he's got now 2 curveballs he's working with. And he's just yesterday he said he had his best one, career high 9 strikeouts. He's untouchable.
We're just penciling him in for 5 and whatever, 6 innings, 7 innings, whatever. No runs, 1 run. I mean, his command right now is just the best as I've seen it.
The last four starts, it's got to be the best in baseball.
I mean,
historically,
could you ask for a better way or a better time of the year to hit your stride if you're Drew Rasmussen? And when the Rays desperately needed it, because we talked about it, there was a time when that starting rotation, when they came out of the break, did not look as so great, and they were a little shaky. Now everybody's firing on all cylinders, and he's leading the way.
This is what the Rays do with pitchers, though, and it's amazing that they bring him in. Here's a guy that's been in Milwaukee system, right, for a long time. We get right, I think with Rasmussen, in the Adames trade. So, and they didn't think maybe we should change a grip here, work with a couple of different curveballs, and they're developing. Shane McClanahan, I don't know if you saw this the other day. And that's the first time I've noticed it. So I maybe he's been doing this for a long time, but he's throwing a forkball they're calling it a changeup, but that slow-mo the other day. And I sent it to my buddy, Joe McEwen, who had one of the best forkballs I've ever seen pitch for the White Sox back in the day. Bruce Sutter, do you remember that name?
Yes.
He had the best, they call it a split finger, a forkball. It kind of depends on how you handle it. but it is such a devastating pitch when you can get it down. It's just really difficult to throw and to control. And that's what he's throwing now. That's that changeup that's going down and away. It's this forkball that kind of tumbles at you, and at the last moment, the bottom just drops out of it. And if you can throw 99 up and in, and then you don't change your arm angle, it looks like exactly the same pitch, and it's coming right in the same plane, and then it's going down and away instead of up and in. You got no shot to hit that thing. There's no shot to hit that thing. So the way the Rays develop their pitchers and they use their strengths to develop other pitches is just amazing. And Kyle Snyder needs great credit for that. And their pitching right now is just ridiculous.
I can't stop looking. I'm just scrolling through here, and here's the Aranda home run just popped up, and
yeah,
my God, I could watch this every day. I want to see him back up in the big leagues badly.
So if he comes up in September and is raking, as a pinch hitter or spot starts here and there, I think he might be a playoff roster guy. Yeah,
maybe. The thing is, it's a matter of where's the fit, where does he play?
Yeah, yep.
And the Rays right now,
they'll figure it out.
Yeah, but the Rays are playing so good right now. It's like you don't want to break anything up that they got
who
going
you taking out?
Because the guys who were supposed to be kind of stopgaps here, like I'll give Yu Chang's an example, right? I didn't think Yu Chang was long for this club because he was just here.
He might be
but I have to be honest. Game if he hasn't played pretty damn well since he's gotten here and tried to make himself stick. And clearly, if the Rays really did not want to hold on to Yu Chang, then they would have called up Aranda by now, probably.
Yeah.
They would have called up Josh Lowe or somebody else right now. But they continue to ride out Yu Chang because
I don't know about
he's not doing anything not to kick him off the roster.
Mm-hmm.
And he's versatile. He's all the things he's a Ray.
Yeah.
Yu Chang's a Ray.
He is, but his upside compared to
there's no
Lowe
upside
and Aranda,
there, there's no upside there, but I just would.
But don't forget, Wander Franco needs a spot too.
Yeah, maybe they're saving it for Wander Franco, which I always assumed it would be. So
we're not even talking about Wander Franco. If he could come back,
well, I don't know about that at the moment, but
okay.
But no, the Rays. Without him, look how good they're playing. I mentioned Manuel Margot's number since he came back. Harold Ramirez since he came back. A little 9-game hit streak.
Yeah,
for Harold Ramirez.
Every game since he's been back.
And I don't think I've watched him strike out. I'm sure he has, but I don't see it.
Yeah.
He always finds a way to get the bat in the ball.
What this team really is lacking though is power. They're scoring runs a little bit here and there, but they need Bilal to get going with power. They need a Rosarena who's been, he's got 19 RBIs in August.
He's a surgeon.
Yeah, he's there. But you need Bilal. They need to just get this lineup just a little bit thicker with some power.
Choi. I don't.
Ooh, wow.
Sometimes I'm watching him. I'm like, is he hurt or something? Because you see now they've done back-to-back games, so they just said, okay, we're going to throw Paredes over there at first.
He's a non-factor.
We're going to throw Harold over there at first.
And their defense Brady's defense almost cost us the other night.
Yeah,
game, yeah. All right, do we have a little Kevin Cash?
Yes, we do.
With his post-game news conference.
I wouldn't even call this a news conference. It's more of a. I don't know what it is, to be honest with you.
It's a press conference.
All right, Kevin, 4-game sweep, not easy to do, but today the hitting just seemed to be contagious. 5-run third inning, 3-run seventh inning. Just what did you see there?
Yeah, a lot of hitting, a lot of good at bats. And look, Sandoval, their starter, he came in. He's had a good season for him. He's tough. Manny Margot, really, his at bats were pretty spectacular today. Certainly the 2-run triple. Ramirez continued to do what he's doing. Isak joined in with the home run. So a lot of good at bats. And Ras was outstanding once again.
I was going to say Manuel Margot, the 4-hit night, just showing how impactful he can be. A couple good games this series for him.
Yeah, showing how much we missed him. And a lot of these guys, him, Harold, and hopefully Wander soon. They're big parts of our club, and we know we're a better team with them in the lineup.
And then Drew Rasmussen, 5 1/3, 6-hit night. What'd you see from him?
Another, strikeouts. Probably elevated his pitch count a little bit, got to a point. I don't know if he's been at 100 pitches or not this season, but it's something that we're aware of, try to be mindful of. But just another really strong performance. It's tough to do to back up the previous two. So we'll be really happy with that one.
Go back to Margot for a second. He came back and he's hitting, he's triple running, he scores on the ground ball. Yep. Does he look as good as he did before?
He looks very healthy. And he's sometimes tough to trust because he always tells you he feels good, but he's looking the part for sure.
And can you quantify just what he means to the lineup? I mean, the tangible benefit, and then you talked before there's an intangible benefit of.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a combination of him and Harold. They're similar in the way that a lot of contact, a lot of move the ball, his foot speed, Harold's versatility to go over, but they mean a lot to our club.
Good day for Isak too. Might hit the out as far as the home run, probably.
Yeah. The line out to third. Yeah. Good to see him. I think he's had a couple home runs here as of late. He went on that really impressive run where he won Player of the Week. And I think the league adjusted a little bit to him, what he was doing. And now maybe we're starting to see him make his adjustment to combat that a little bit and have some success.
Almost perfect homestand, given the standings, certainly what you guys needed to do. You went out and did it.
Yeah, we needed to play well here. No doubt about it. I think that we know that it's going to go down to the wire. There's a lot of good teams right in the thick of things, but if we can kind of just focus on the game, the series at hand, we'll be better for it. But really impressed with the way the guys went about their business over the last 8 days.
You see the run is a combination of the offense being a little bit better and the pitching still being good? Is there a little bit of both?
I mean, our starting pitching is just – we might be the last 8 days or so, and even into New York. That could have been our best stretch of the season, our most consistent stretch. So I think that sets the tone. That's always going to set the tone. And then the offense being able to open up and separate some games here as of late certainly helps, freshen up the bullpen.
And you kind of put it to that pregame, having those guys back is kind of the reason the lineup's been better.
Yes. The 9 strikeouts by Rasmussen, especially early, he had a lot. Was that just good movement, like good swing and misses? Like what kind of led to that?
I think his breaking balls picked up right where they left off his last outing. It seems like his stuff, or it appears that his stuff is as good, if not better, right now than maybe it was early in the year. And I think we got to remember early in the year, he was really learning 2 different breaking balls. With the amount of reps, I think he's at 110 innings, whatever it is. It's allowed him to have some confidence, and he's probably, closer to having just really consistent, great feel for both those pitches.
And then was Siri fine when you went out to look at him? Yeah, he was fine.
During that 11-13 stretch, what's impressed you the most about your club?
Pitching. It's always going to be pitching.
Yeah. Yeah, no secret there, the way these guys are pitching right now. And this is, Shane Baz may or may not come back. He's starting to throw again. Tyler Glass now, it's pretty much going to be up to him how he feels and if he wants to come back. That would just be ridiculous. I mean, do you get a sense, even a little bit? I don't think you can make this comparison because the offenses are so different. But do you get any comparison between where the Rays are right now and where the Braves were last year or a couple of years ago?
Last year, you mean?
Yeah.
That's the difference is you look at the Braves roster and they had, Ozzie Albies was on that team. I can't throw Acuna in there because he was hurt all season. Freddie Freeman was there.
Right. Their offense was just
they had some bona
really
fide
good
studs in that lineup.
Major league hitters. Yeah.
Yeah, they had some bona fide studs in that lineup. But what they did was at the deadline, they complemented it with, I want to say it was Jorge Soler, Jock Peterson, and there's one more, Rosario.
Yeah.
And I remember I mentioned that to you, like, if you don't get the star, maybe bring in 3 guys. And I understand those 3 have had varying levels of borderline or all-star success. But the Rays, they brought in 3 players as well. And
Peralta's been good.
Peralta's been very good. I think he's
under the radar.
Yeah, he's been I think he's just as, I know Rosario got hot in the playoffs, but both coming in, I think Peralta's comparable to that guy last year. Bethancourt has come in, and we saw that he's starting to hit the ball pretty well. We already know what he can do defensively. He's got a cannon back there. And then Jose Siri, who's provided a spark to this team. So I think maybe the Rays didn't land a big fish at the deadline, but they brought in 3, I'd say, decent, good baseball players. And you add that to this lineup, the depth is so completely different now. So there are some similarities, I think, in that, whereas the Braves brought in 3 players, the Rays did as well. And the Rays are getting hot at the same time the Braves did last year.
Yeah. We'll see. It's going to, I'm excited about this September where I was not so excited about a month ago. I'm excited about this September and October. They're going to make the playoffs. unless they completely crap the bed the road, they're going to make the playoffs.
I mean, right now they're in first place in the wild card, and Toronto, the Red Sox didn't help us at all by getting swept in 3 games by Toronto.
Yeah.
Did not help.
That 5-game series up in Toronto is going to be a big deal.
Yeah, and the Rays now, they get a 3-game set against Boston. We'll see if they get the game in tonight, because it looks like it's going to be really bad weather. It's what you get when you don't have a roof on your building.
Oh,
sorry about it.
Yeah, that's what we want to do. Go put a
Sorry
roof
about
on
it.
Fenway Park. Yeah, that's a great idea for the 4 rainouts a year. All right, we got to take a quick break. Dan Lucas is going to join us at 11:30 from Indianapolis, where the Bucs will play tomorrow night on News Channel 8. But we're going to do a couple other stories when we get back. There's golf news. Lee Westwood taking shots at the PGA Tour from his live golf perch. We're going to talk a little Daytona. Nick wants to talk some Daytona, and there's some Westbrook information in the NBA that's laughable. So we got a lot of good stories coming up. Stay with us. Now is the time to make sure your home insurance is in order. In the last year, many of us have made improvements to our homes. So call the folks at Italiano and discuss these upgrades to make sure you have enough coverage. According to a recent report, almost 64% of homeowners don't have enough insurance on their home, which is their most valuable asset. Also, a great time to make sure you have flood insurance. Even if your mortgage company does not require flood insurance, your home could still be at flood risk. Another big item as we enter hurricane season is making sure your pool enclosure is added to your policy, and there will be no issue at claim time. That happens a lot. So call your friendly agent at Italiano Insurance to review your policies today. 813-877-7799 or ItalianoInsurance.com.
Hi, my name is Mike Warner, a Navy vet. I've had problems with addictions throughout the many decades. Something saved my life, and that is the Heroes Mile program.
Hi, I'm Bill Lennox, retired Lieutenant General, United States Army. If you have any challenges in alcohol, drug, if you have PTSD, MST, think about Heroes Mile.
Heroes Mile, a recovery center for veterans by veterans. Call 1-888-VET-NOW2 to learn more or visit heroesmile.com.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by Emerging Investigations and BAMMC.com, Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Chris Lugo, we had him on the other day talking about how important sleep is for you and how to get good sleep. You know, people are like, well, what can I do to get good sleep? There's a lot of things that you can learn from Bay Area Modern Medical Center about getting good sleep. And it's about a lifestyle. They will absolutely prepare you a personalized plan that for your diet, nutrition, for supplements, for exercise, for sleep, all those things to get your body in an optimal position. Where he works a lot with the National Guard and some of our top pilots, and those guys obviously have to be in tip-top shape. He'll use those same techniques and philosophies on you as well, so you can benefit from all that great knowledge. And it's not just the old cookie cutter, you know, write a script and get you out of the office. They really care about your personal health. So it's a whole new approach. Check them out at BAMMC.com. That's BAMMC.com. Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Chris Lugo. Just go right there to the website and you can get an appointment even on off hours. They'll take care of you. So BAMMC.com. All right, so get to a couple other stories here. Lee Westwood is taking shots at his former tour, the PGA Tour, because of all the changes they've made. He, of course, defected to the to Live Golf. He said, quote, "I laugh at what the PGA Tour players have come up with. It's just a copy of what Live is doing. There are a lot of hypocrites out there. They all say Live is not competitive. They all point to the no-cut aspect of Live and the short fields." Well, that makes no sense to me. Did the PGA Tour come up with a no-cut deal? Did they? No. They're just elevating their money. Now, is it a little bit of irony that these guys left for money and now suddenly the PGA Tour has found all this money? Yeah, it is. But his criticisms just don't seem to make much sense to me. And I hate the fact that now we're pitting players against players. This is not what golf needs. And we owe Greg Norman and the Saudis all of this. Now, without them though, TBH, where would the PGA Tour have come up with this money on their own? I don't think so.
No, I mean, And you can almost make the argument. I mean, Phil Mickelson, everything that the PGA Tour has done is what Phil Mickelson has called for them to do
for decades.
Now, did it take Phil Mickelson leading the charge, I guess, to make that happen? And some of the other big to me, it took Shambo going, it took Bryson, it took Brooks. To me, those three are the integral part to live right now. And the reason why the PGA Tour have had to react, because those are three big, whatever you feel about those guys. And I may not think that they're the biggest losses, because honestly, I don't even notice them when I'm watching the PGA Tour, that they're not out there. I just don't. But
I don't know. I looked at the leaderboard the other day for the Tour Championship, and I went,
a little different, but they're big names.
Yeah.
And the PGA Tour
Those are big names.
and knows that there are people that tune in and probably want to see those players.
Yes.
So, of course, I think those three leaving.
Golf is not better because of LIV.
No,
it's
probably
just
not. But yeah, I think that may have caused the PGA Tour to make these changes, which, I mean, unfortunately, that's the world we live in, right? There's always going to be something that triggers the changes. But when Lee Westwood, I mean, listen, Lee Westwood has not been relevant since I was in grade school.
Yeah, that's
quite frankly.
So LIV Tour just looks like a bunch of has-beens.
I don't care what these older players who have had their day, their moment, have to say.
Old heads, as you like to say.
The old heads. There you go.
Hey, how about Dameon Pierce? Dameon Pierce, and I said this last year when I'm watching Florida play, and I'm like, when I saw Dameon Pierce, I'm like, is this guy new? Is it like, where's he been? I remember when he played a little bit here and there, but every time I saw him play, I'm like, this dude you can't tackle the dude. He is, and I said I would love to see the Bucs draft him, because I thought he would be great value, and he's going to be a great pro. I'm definitely looking at him late in fantasy drafts. I don't know about you, but I'm definitely looking. That kid's going to be special.
I have a dynasty league that is entering year 5 here, so we had a rookie draft already, and I've already traded for Dameon Pierce. So I own his rights.
Good move.
I'm loving it, but I told you, it's like every time Dameon Pierce plays any type of football game, there's any type of practice video on him, Dan Mullen is always trending. He is always trending, because this man, I don't know what he had against Dameon Pierce, but never put him on the field. I mean, it's a tragedy. I have his numbers here. Most carries he ever had in a season, 106. That's it.
What did he average? Like 5.6 yards a carry?
Five for his career, 5.5 yards a carry.
Nailed that one, didn't I?
Yeah, on 329 attempts. That's it. That's it.
In the SEC.
In the SEC. And who were the running backs he was going up against? I mean, Malik Davis was a 4-year guy, but I think he's been doing well in preseason as well. Yeah, but he never really popped maybe like Florida thought he would. My point is, it's like he wasn't going up against all these world beaters.
Yeah.
It was evident to everybody watching, put Dameon Pierce in the game.
Yeah.
And now he's on the Texans, and he started as running back 3. He's running back 1.
Yeah.
Already.
On a crappy team. But he'll get touches, and he'll get.
And he was fantastic last night.
Trey Lance was not.
No. I'm so shocked.
I saw him miss 3 throws last night. Were just easy throws. What are they doing? Do you think there's a little sense in San Francisco, like, what have we done? I mean, they still got Jimmy G, but for them to go back to Jimmy G at this point, they look like complete fools. And by the way, what's up with Trey Lance's hair? Did you see that? What the hell's going on there?
I'm not getting into his hair. I'm not getting into his hair.
I mean, I shouldn't be talking, but good God, son. What are they doing? What? I'm going to predict Jimmy G starts by week 3. Maybe
Jimmy
week
G's
4.
not going to be on the roster in the next week, because the scuttlebutt out there, and I think
they got to pay him $25 million.
John Lynch might have even said this, I think, at a press conference the day before, is that if they don't get a resolution done by the regular season, they're just going to cut him. They're just going to outright cut him. They don't want him in the building anymore.
I know Herb Street. You watched the Herb Street was going off last night on Jimmy.
Yes, because they put the graphic right up there, and you can see that he's 31-14. Kyle Shanahan as a head coach, when Jimmy Garoppolo is his quarterback, and no other quarterback has he had any type of success with. And Kirk Herbstreit's like, and everybody's just throwing this guy out like a piece of garbage. He can't play. Man. And as I've said, and Kirk said it last night, 2 years as a starter, a Super Bowl, and a quarter away from going to another one. And no, he's trash. Let's just go with the rookie that hasn't played a meaningful football game, by the way, since 2019.
I mean, I think the big deal here is his contract. I think
it's the contract, and it's the fact that they traded all that capital to get him, and they feel like pressure that they have to do it.
Well, and the reason he hasn't gone to another team and had a starting job is because of his contract. I don't think anybody wants to pay him $26 million this year
for a quarterback. That's peanuts.
It really is. But they all feel like they can get him when he gets released. But there's going to be, then there's going to be a bidding. I'm going to say a bidding war, but I think Cleveland would be stupid not to go after him. I can't believe they're going to play the first 12 games with Jacoby Brissett with the roster that they have. That's dumb.
It makes no sense to trade for him.
Right.
Because then you still got to pay Deshaun his money.
Right.
Which is, we already know what that is. And then you're paying Jimmy that. What are you going to pay, $75 million in 2 quarterbacks? You're not
you can't do that. You can't do that. And if they gets released, you got to renegotiate the contract. If you trade for him, you're stuck with the contract. So
it's just, again, I'm not saying that Jimmy Garoppolo is the greatest quarterback in the world, because he's far from it.
Yeah.
But I'm blown away at how the NFL has just thrown this guy out like a piece of garbage.
It doesn't make sense.
Even though he wins football games.
Tell me why I should watch Daytona this weekend.
Well, it is not
as a post NASCAR. I used to be a huge fan when I covered it up in North Carolina. I loved it. But I've just fallen away.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, it's Daytona. That should sell itself right there.
Yeah.
Every Daytona is always going to be a spectacle.
Well, last three laps anyway.
Cute. But this race used to always be the July 4th race,
Right.
which I always loved, by the way. But they've done something different with the schedule. They want Daytona to mean something even bigger. So they've put it, this is the final race of the regular season before we get to the 12-race playoff here. And that's what Daytona is, and it's at night. It's at night tomorrow. It's going to be big. We got 2 playoff spots on the line because Kurt Busch has been out for 5 races with a concussion. He's not going to make it back for the playoffs, so he's forfeiting his playoff spot. So we got 2 playoff spots on the line here. If you win, you're in. It's that simple. If not, then you have Martin Truex Jr. and Ryan Blaney are kind of flip-flopping for that final spot. So there's some big stakes on the line here. It's Daytona. It's a night race. It's going to be packed. You know that.
Yeah.
So
cars are more competitive.
The cars are more competitive. I told you 24 races this year, and we've had 16 different winners.
Is that good?
That's pretty good.
Isn't NASCAR better when we have a dominant champion, a black number 3, or a Jeff Gordon? Or,
well, yeah, but you want to see more parity in the sport because it was getting out of hand the past 2 years. The new gen car, the next gen car has changed that. We have new winners all over the place, new stars being created. I think it's going to be a good watch. That's all I'm going to say.
All right. Well, I've got other things
There's
to watch.
Lots of things
this
to watch,
weekend,
but if you find the last time for the final 3 laps, it's going to be good.
All right. Anything else I wanted to get to? We'll do the pot dog later.
You save the pot dog.
The pot dog will be later.
We got to get.
We haven't talked about Aaron Donald.
We got to get to Dan.
We'll do that. All right, quick break. When we come back, Dan Lucas is going to join us live from Indianapolis, where he will be working the Bucs preseason game for News Channel 8 tomorrow night, and we got starters. We got starters to talk about. So stay with us. Quick break.
Serena Fazan here for the Gold and Diamond Source. Are you looking for the hottest trends in men's jewelry? Ladies love to see men spice it up with something cool from the Gold and Diamond Source. Whether you're looking for a gold chain, fashion rings, even a pre-owned Rolex watch, or thinking about getting engaged, there's only one place to go. Go see my friends, Julie and Steve Weintraub at the Gold and Diamond Source for your one-stop jewelry supercenter. It's never been more important to shop local and support the businesses that support our amazing Tampa Bay community. None better than the great folks at the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Ulmerton Road, or online at goldendiamond.com.
Are you concerned your spouse might be cheating or want to locate a long-lost relative or love? Or a missing person and the police are not helping? An insurance adjuster who needs proof of injury. Hi, I'm Rachel D'Antonio from Tampa Bay's premier private investigation agency, Emerging Investigation. We have a proven track record of results. Local attorneys and insurance companies hire us to discover insurance fraud and crucial information in criminal cases. We can help in custody matters, and we devote a tremendous state-of-the-art technology and cutting-edge industry surveillance techniques to get you trusted results. Larger corporate agencies can be more expensive and do not offer the personal level of customer service and interaction that we pride ourselves on. We are a family-owned business. Our professional experience team includes my son, lead investigator Zach D'Antonio, a former collegiate athlete, and my daughter Emily, who leads our in-house investigations team. Don't take matters into your own hands by trying to install snooping programs on phones or GPS trackers. That can cause unneeded stress and give you inaccurate results. Go with the professionals at Emerging Investigations. We have proven results and tremendous testimonials from our satisfied customers. Call for a free consultation and we can discuss how we can help. Peace of mind is as valuable as bad news. Just go to our website, emerginginv.com, or call 813-291-FACT. That's emerginginv.com. Where Emerging Investigations, we get results in life's biggest matters.
Guys, let me tell you about Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Are you experiencing low sex drive, fatigue, hot flashes? To BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. Thanks so much for joining us. Brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center in our second hour. Emerging Investigations, emerginginv.com. Check them out. Tampa Bay's #1 private investigation agency. All right, let's head on up to Indianapolis, where we find our man Dan Lucas, who will be hosting the preseason game tomorrow night on News Channel 8, as we're going to see some starters playing. What's up, Dano? How are you?
JP, how are you? You know what I just realized? This is, I don't know, about like my 7th or 8th time coming to Indy. And this is the first time that I'm not freezing to death. I'm looking out the window. There's leaves on the trees. It's green. Now I know why people think it's a nice place to be.
That's a good point. I don't think I've ever been to Indianapolis when it wasn't just like dark and gloomy and cold. Yeah. Because Final Fours.
I've been here in single digits.
Yeah.
No, I've seen it all, man. And there's a reason. I mean, if you've been to Indy before, people will tell you that, people know downtown. You can go anywhere downtown without actually going outside.
Yeah.
Because all the buildings are connected and the convention center is kind of the hub. But there's a reason for that. And it's not because of the gorgeous summers. It's the rest of the year. That's why you need to be inside.
Yeah, well, you will be inside tomorrow night, which is always great, right? And the Bucs will be inside for their first 2 games, obviously at Jerry World and the Caesars Dome, or whatever hell they're calling it now in New Orleans. And so I think it's maybe one of the reasons they want to get players out there. But I think this is a good move by Todd Bowles to get the starters out there, especially the offensive line, who I hope will play at least a half. What are your thoughts?
I would like to see that much as well. I'm not sure how much they're going to go, to be honest. And it's twofold for me. One, I want to see, obviously, Brady operate in the offense with the starters. Who doesn't? But I want to see them hand it to Kyle Trask with starters. I think that, to me, is what I have got to see that before I either close the door or look ahead on Kyle Trask, because I don't think, in my own opinion, I don't think he's been given a fair. He's got a lot of reps and a lot of plays in games. Yeah. He's made some mistakes, but he's doing a lot under duress.
Yeah.
And I would like to see him behind the starting offensive line operate this offense, handing off to Leonard Fournette. I don't think that's unreasonable to want to ask that in the preseason game.
Would you rather see that than Blaine Gabbert? So you would like to see Kyle coming in after Brady?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I trust Blaine Gabbert. I know what he can do. It's kind of like the Ryan Griffin thing. I know what he can do. This is a throwaway game. So why do I need to get tape on Blaine Gabbert?
Right.
They're trying to get Tom Brady reps to get ready for the season. This is his only chance. And they have said from the start of camp that we have got to go long-term on Kyle Trask. We've got to see exactly what we have. We haven't had a chance in his first year to get that. And he's played in the games, yes. And I know at times hasn't looked great, but I go back to what I said. I think he's just been under duress And I think he deserves a shot with the starters.
Yeah, that's a great point, because we've been talking about Kyle Trask, Nick and I kind of debating, that have we seen enough? Have we closed the door on him? And it's one of the things I brought up. I said, I want to see him with the ones. I mean, it's such a difference playing with a Mike Evans and and a Chris Godwin, although obviously we won't see him this preseason. But when you're working with elite talent, those guys, it's a lot easier to make quick decisions with the ball when these guys are going to get separation and get open. When you're working with Jalen Darden and Jared Stearns, smaller receivers, smaller catch radius, it's just not as easy. And so, yeah, I think before we make any calls on Kyle Trask, which we have to at some point, yeah, I'm with you. So I hope we see that. Do you get any sense? Have you heard any scuttlebutt on that he's coming in second after Brady?
No, I have not, but I would have to presume they're going to give him a big chunk of this game.
Makes sense.
Just for that reason, because it's been such a roller coaster for him. And I think the last game was just a offensive debacle that, the guys, I think every single offensive player, not the starting guys who were in the game for a little while, but I think everybody gets a do-over, and this is it. I mean, we're going to put you out there again. Don't screw up this time. And the first guy I'm thinking of, I hate to say it, I can't, I love the guy. I am curious to see what's going to happen with Scotty Miller. Not only in this game, but when they do the cuts and bring guys back, is he going to make the 53? Do they try and hide him on the practice squad? But
can't do that.
That drop against the Titans last, the deep pass that Trask laid in there, and went off his hand. It was on the right sideline there.
Yeah, very uncharacteristic.
Yeah, it just you could feel the air go out of the Bucs bench on that play. It was there. It was ready. It was Scotty's moment. It was his redemption moment, and he didn't haul it in. And so I just, he talked the other day, and he said, he knows he's in a fight. He's been in a fight his whole life. Hasn't had anything handed to him, and I like his mindset. But you got to catch that ball. That's it. Plain and simple.
Well, Luke, I kind of said this the other day that I think Scotty's on this team. I think he's already made the team, because when you think about it, if we get a couple of rash of injuries like we've done the last couple of years at the wide receiver position, yes, I think Tyler Johnson has more to show, but I'm not sure. I think Jarrett Stearns could be a good player. I think Devin Tompkins could be a good player, but I'm not sure. I've seen Scotty Miller play in an NFL game, a playoff game, a championship game, and catch a touchdown pass in the back of the end zone from Tom Brady. I've seen him, when Brady's in Brady's first year, have great rapport with him for the first 6 to 8 games before AB got here. I've seen it in real games. I don't give a crap what I see in preseason. I've seen this dude do it. Now, it's been a while, it hasn't been last week, but I have confidence in him. I think he's a hell of a player, and I think Brady loves him. So I don't know. That's my thought.
Well, the one thing he's got going for him is confidence from Brady.
Yep.
Brady believes in him.
Yeah,
and it goes back to our top secret surveillance video of the Berkeley Prep workouts. Scotty Miller was one of the first guys in that group,
That's right.
And that group grew as the summer went on. That group got bigger and bigger. But Brady's the one. I remember in that first training camp yelling out "Scooter!" He loves the guy.
Yeah,
he loves the guy. So
last I checked, what Brady gets, what Brady wants, he gets. So
exactly.
I don't think Scooter's going anywhere, brother. Dan Lucas joining us from Indianapolis. Hey, have we got the interior line cam worked out for tomorrow night so we can get some ISOs on Hainsey and Gedeke and Shaq Mason playing together? Those are the three I want. And Rondé was on yesterday talking about that. So I think that's one of the main things I'm going to be looking for. You?
This is a big night for Luke Gedeke.
Yes, it is.
He had some, we'll call them teaching moments last week in the Tennessee game that they were hard to watch, but I think that those are the kind of things that he's a smart guy. He watched it too, just like us afterwards. And I'm sure not only did he pick up things, and I'm sure he was a little bit embarrassed. And so I think he's going to come out and play really strong. It's funny. I talked to Robert Hainsey at practice this week, and I asked him, I go, what do you, we were joking about Brady and the towel and the powder thing. What does Brady expect of his center? And it was the towel thing. And I go, okay, what do you expect of the guards next to you. Like, so you guys are trying to get cohesive. You've got a rookie maybe at left. What do you expect? And he said, it's just your individual assignment within the play. That's all I expect. He doesn't, not particular footwork or anything like that doesn't matter to him. He just wants Gedeke to get position on his guy and stay low so he can chip in, wherever the play is called. That's it. He's not asking a lot, but you're going up that left guard. It's the old Ali Marpet is going up against some of these elite nose tackle interior rushers right off the bat in the regular season. To say that this position has got to get it right and get it effective is not an understatement. And so Gedeke is really in the spotlight tonight. And I hope the Colts throw everything at him.
Yeah, me too.
In the first couple of series, because he's got to see this. I think he's going to be the guy in Dallas. And we know what's coming with Dallas. They're coming.
Yeah.
And so Gedeke's got to be ready. I'm keeping my eye on him. 67 in this game tomorrow night.
It's a big night for him because I get a sense that they're telling him he's the guy, but he's just got to go out and prove it. And that's something else I want to see. Any other things that you're looking forward to or going to have an eye on for this game?
I think, defensively, I'm presuming everybody plays, since that's what Todd Bowles said.
If you're healthy.
I would really like to see Vita Vea and Akeem Hicks together.
Yes.
Because I think that is going to be – I think we're going to be howling this season when we watch teams try and run. I think it's going to be a hoot. And teams are going to be one-dimensional against the Bucs because of those two guys. And I just want to see a sample of it because – what is their combined weight? Like 725 pounds or something. And they're both athletic and fast feet. I'm looking forward to seeing those two guys. And also Joe Tryon-Shrieka, who was wonderful last week.
Yep.
And Malik Willis is running all over the place. Made it look like Michael Vick years ago.
Yeah.
And Tryon's just chasing him down. And that's your JPP. That's the replacement, and I think it's great. I can't wait to see him tomorrow night as well.
Kicking competition. Any insights on that? Who's going to get the kicks? We Suck Up, Borogalis, or a combination of the two?
Suck Up took the long field goal last week. I'd have to imagine Borogalis gets in this week because
indoors.
He needs that redemption kick.
Yeah, he does.
I would like to see him in a pressure situation. It's funny. Suck Up made that long field goal last week. The next thing I turn around, he's wearing sneakers. I go, well, I guess you're done for the night after that one. But I would have Borogalis doing the bulk of everything, taking most of, especially the long field goals, because I feel like they're leaning towards Borogalis, to be honest. That's my thought.
I think that's a big mistake. I go with give me the guy that's going to make the pressure kick, and I know he can make it. Borogalis has had one pressure kick, and he shanked him. Looked like my sandwich from the other day. All of them.
That's me on the tee at number 2 at Northdale.
Yes.
That was that kick looked like. Except instead of an upright, it's somebody's patio.
Yes, I know the feeling very well.
I can't believe that you're willing to go with Borogalis, though. I mean, do you really want to mess up this great mojo we have with kicking finally?
I know.
Hurricanes suck. Seminole.
The guy's a boomer. He's just a boomer, though. That's the thing. And
he hurts.
Do you think
he hurts?
You guys think?
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, go ahead.
If let's say it comes to a kick tomorrow night, and the game means nothing, but they roll Borogalis out there, and it's 49 yards, and he nails it dead center, and the Bucs win. Do you change your opinion?
No.
You stay with the veteran.
Brady's last year, I'm going with the guy that I make him from 49 and in. He doesn't miss many. He's mentally, he's the guy. Borogalis has had one mental instance where he had to hit a game-winning kick, and it wasn't even a regular season game. And it was the worst kick he's had all year long. I can't take that chance. That between the ears, I mean, that's Roberto Aguayo. I mean, you can't do that.
Yeah.
You can't do it. You can't risk a whole season on a neophyte kicker. You can't do it.
I can't deal with the fact that he's a Lou Groza Award winner.
I can't deal with the fact he's a Hurricane,
too. I can't do the Lou Groza Award winners because Aguayo was Lou Groza.
We're arguing.
Matt
Dan
Gay
Lucas is in
Lou
Indianapolis. We're just, I know.
Yeah.
All right.
I thought the kicker at Miami was still that Huerta, Carlos Huerta. He did like his 34th season.
His 34th season. All right, so just one request. You know, I've been in your shoes doing sideline interviews. You go over to PR and go, hey, can I get this guy? Can I get this guy? So take me through what you and Nelson or whoever's going to do it tomorrow night. Yeah, Tom's out of the game. Can we get Brady over here at the News Channel?
Yeah, I really wish. You know what's funny? You know what? I've been beating the Chris Godwin drum for 2 weeks. So
they won't even give you Godwin. He's not doing anything.
I'm ready. I got the heavy hammer, and I'm going to do my best. I'm going to do my best tomorrow to make that happen.
If you get Brady on the sideline, first question, what's it going to be?
Was that really you in the underwear on the motorcycle? So when you were on the practice field, why did you come out in your mask costume?
That'd be a good one.
Yeah,
that'd be a good one.
Yeah, that would be a good one as well.
What was your go-to song at the Masked Singer? Or I just say, hey, listen, do you have any family photos of the trip to Italy or Bahamas or wherever the hell you were? Can I get an itinerary, some receipts? Anything? You got anything you can show? You got your phone there? Maybe show me a family picture from the Amalfi Coast. What do you got? What do you got, TB? People want to know.
Right. Exactly. So he was. You know what? I'll give you my thoughts on this. Clearly, they're letting time go by, and he'll be available before the Cowboys game for his required availability. And there's a running tab here of questions and storylines, or however you want to refer to it. I mean, you got the Dolphins thing, you got the sabbatical,
you got the Raiders thing,
and anything else that's lined up. It's not going away. Time is not going to make this go away. Now the answers are going to be, you know what, we moved on. It's time for the Cowboys.
Yeah, we're on
time
to
for the
Cincinnati.
Cowboys, but it's not that simple.
Yeah,
it's not that simple because to me, what's at stake, and people, I don't want to insult anyone who just loves everything. Tom Brady is bigger than the product, quite honest.
Right.
But everything that you're saying to the public, this team sport, this and that and the other, is at stake, in my opinion, for when you start regurgitating that stuff during the season. You've just gone against what you said. You've gone from camp for 2 weeks, whatever the reason. You can't sit here and give me a canned answer anymore that it's all about the team. You can't do that. We've lost that luxury for me. It's just going to be regurgitated.
I agree, but I don't think he's going to answer the questions. I don't think he'll answer them. He'll probably just, okay, thanks guys. As soon as he gets in, he'll be up and gone. But you're gonna ask for Brady though, right? You're gonna ask.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
You always do. You ask for the Glazers. You ask for Brady. Yes.
Oh, I have.
All right, so
let's
bring the Glazers out.
Glazers.
Yeah. All right. Well, tell me next week when we talk how that went when you asked for Brady. Just for fun.
You're gonna watch the game tomorrow night, and you're gonna laugh, and you're gonna send me a text message, and then you're gonna say, "Monday, Luke. Monday, you're our first guest.
Yeah.
I have some thoughts on your interview."
You might get Luke Gedeke, but you ain't getting Brady. That's
right.
They might give you Borgalis after he shanks one, but you ain't getting Brady. But you got to ask. You got to ask.
I love it. All
right, brother. Have a good broadcast. We'll be watching.
Real quick. For the pregame tomorrow, is Scott and his wonderful mullet going to be joining you again tomorrow?
Scott is not in Indianapolis. I'm very disappointed.
Scott Reynolds.
And you know, it's funny. It's funny
mullet?
you mentioned that because he told me that he has all this great stuff that he talks about. But he said the number one thing he was getting on emails and Twitter was the hair.
We get him on all. We can't see the mullet.
Yeah, I can see. You don't look at the mullet on the screen.
I haven't seen the mullet.
Wow.
I can't.
Well, on TV, it's made for TV. It's made for TV.
Yes.
I didn't know that. Oh, wow. Props. That's awesome. All right. Yeah. Well, pregame show starts what? 6:30 tomorrow. 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock.
7:30. Yep.
All right. Anything you want to promo? We're going to see in there besides how Hainsey puts baby powder down his ass.
We're going to talk Hainsey, baby powder, and I'll tell you a good guy to watch, Olakunle Fatukasi.
Ooh, nicely done.
Who's played very well in both preseason games so far. Really good dude. His older brother was drafted by Todd Bowles.
Right.
and he played with Todd Bowles' oldest son at Rutgers. So there's a little connection there. But super nice young man. And I got to figure out how he can make this roster. I think he might wind up on the 16, the practice squad, but he's got a motor in him for sure, and he's showing up well.
All right, we'll be watching. Actually, I'll be at the FSU game, but I will be tuning in on my phone to watch you guys. So, and taping,
watch
as well.
Watch us while Jordan Travis is running for 60 yards. And I'm like,
Yes.
hang on, everybody! I'm trying to watch this. Lucas is talking to Handy about baby powder. Guys, stop the war chants. I'm trying to listen to the Hainsey interview.
Yeah, hold those 2 fireball shots. I'm watching Lucas here talk to some guy with a mullet. All right, brother. Thanks, Dan. Appreciate it. The great Dan Lucas, News Channel 8. Tune in tomorrow night, 7:00 for the pregame show. That'll be fun. All right, we had Rondé Barber on yesterday, who obviously will be doing the game. So we had him off the top of the show. So I want to get a few of the key quotes in from yesterday in case you missed it. Great, really good interview. You can watch the whole thing, obviously, on our YouTube page from yesterday, right off the top of the show, or any of our socials. But we'll start right here with Rondé talking about how good this Bucs defense can be this year.
So obviously great defenses, to me, rely on great rushers up front. And to me, that we have one, Shaq Barrett, we know what he is. This is a big, big year. And I know it's only his second year, but this is big for Joe Tryon-Shoyinka. He's got to turn into that guy. And he looks the part. And he had a great preseason last year. We expected it, but they ran him around all over the field, different formations and different roles in the defense last year. Now he's taking over for JPP full-time. Like, I expect him to have one hell of a year. And if it's starting there, if you're starting at those 2 edge rushers, giving you what I'm expecting from them, then yes, this defense will be great. They're still relatively young in the secondary, and that's the question mark. I mean, obviously, they're one of the best run defenses in the league. They always will be. So not only because of the scheme, because of Todd Bowles' scheme, but because they probably have the best nose tackle in football in Vita Vea. Akeem Hicks helps them tremendously. Golston is the most underrated, interior player that nobody ever talks about. And then they got, great backups in Nunez Roches. So they have players. I think their interior defensive line is strong enough to always be good against the run, but it has to start on the edge for me for this defense to be good. And then back to my other point, they're young in the secondary. They got to step up, man. Sean Murphy-Bunting, Jamel Dean, those guys got to play to a different level. And if Carlton Davis can turn, what has been a pretty steady and solid start to his career into the next level, start taking the ball away, so to speak, then they're going to be great. Because Antoine Winfield's great. He's a great player, man. They're going to move him around. He'll play a bunch of nickel this year. They want to get tougher in there so he can do just about everything. So I'm excited. I'm just like you, JP. I think this is the year they take off.
Yeah, I can't wait to see them smash Dak Prescott in that inexperienced offensive line. Another question I thought was incredible insight into this answer, because Ronnie played against Brady obviously many times. I just watched him up close here in Tampa Bay. I asked him what makes Brady so good and so special.
Besides the way that let's discount the way that he takes care of himself. Working with Alex Guerrero, the guy is a miracle worker. He works with other guys on the team now, which is what he did in New England too. His body is so well kept that he's still able to do this, right? Because he's 45 years old. You shouldn't be able to do what he's doing. And by that, I mean, when you watch the way that he moves in practice or in games, the crispness of his mechanisms, they haven't broken down at all since I played them 10 years ago, right? It's just, it's the same. In fact, it might even be more. It might be even more so efficient. And so when you see him throw the ball, there's zero velocity change. I mean, I remember talking last year to Alex about them working in the offseason, and he told me that Tom goes out to wherever he goes in Montana, and they work on RPMs, just the speed of the ball. And if he can hit the certain number, he's playing again. When he can't hit that number, he's not going to play anymore. That's basically I can't throw my fastball anymore. He still has his fastball, So when I watch him down practice or watching replays of games or put on the film and watch the games, you see that. You see how technically sound he is, and how crisp everything is in his operation. Now, that being said, what makes him the best is his ability to look at something in front of him, whether it's close hole safety, so there's a safety in the middle of the field, or open, and diagnose whether it's 3, whether they're trying to fool him, whether it's 4, whether it's 2, and then it's just so succinct how he goes through his progressions. Boom, 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 bam, and you're just like, wow, like nobody does it like that. Drew Brees was like that a little bit, and his looks so mechanical. Like Tom is just like sits back there, he's comfortable, he's like barely moving his head, and then pops the ball right where he's supposed to be. That's why he's the best, because he's physically excellent shape, and he's mentally always in excellent shape. And I've never seen anybody do it like him.
That pre-snap stuff is just off the charts, and that's why he gets rid of it so quick. He already knows where the ball's going.
Well, opposed to a guy like Aaron Rodgers, who's 2-time league MVP, probably shouldn't have been last year. I mean, come on, man. But 2-time league MVP who can always create on the move because of that ridiculous arm strength or arm, whatever he has on his arm. I don't know how he throws half of those passes without having his feet set. But that's what makes Aaron Rodgers great. Tom can't do that. Right. Tom's not moving out of the pocket or scrambling for 2 or 3 yards. You know, he claims he's a runner now because he had a 12-yard run last year. But the reality is he does it all within the confines of a pocket. And that's what makes him different than some of these other guys, than like the Mahomes or the Josh Allens or all these other great young quarterbacks, or, you know, somewhat aging quarterbacks in Aaron Rodgers' case. Their ability to do that makes them different. His ability to do what he does makes him, just to me, special, because not a lot of guys can do that.
Nobody's done it better than Brady. How about that? Rondé Barber breaking that down. I thought that was really, really cool. You can hear that whole interview at our YouTube page, or go to my Twitter at FanstreamJP and get the show from yesterday, or in Facebook as well, or download the app, FanStream Sports. Man, great show today. Our big thanks to Patrick Burnham, who really broke it down from an FSU standpoint. Dan Lucas joined us as well, and a great Rondé Barber right there. Really appreciate all you guys listening each and every week. We give you every day 2 hours, the best Tampa Bay sports talk radio. Have a great weekend, everybody. I'll be at FSU. We'll be talking Bucks on Monday and Rays as well. Have a great weekend.